Hey everybody, I just got a new package in from White Mountain Knives. This is actually a White Mountain Knife exclusive, so these were only being sold there. And this is something really cool. I'm stoked about it. Yeah, so let's go ahead and open it up. I am using my prototype Divo Lush and S90V to open this thing up. The reason I'm using this Divo knife is because this happens to be my newest Divo to the collection. And if you guys have been on White Mountain Knives in the last few days, then you probably know exactly what this thing is. I'm trying to think. I was going to say, no, what I was going to say isn't the truth, so I'm not going to say. I was going to say all the Divos I bought are secondhand, so I didn't always get all the swag, but that's not true. I bought 2 Divos that were brand new, and I still have, I think, yeah, right here. I got 2 cloths I've never used, but it looks like they're making blue ones now, or they always had blue ones, I just didn't have one. So that's cool. I'll show you what else is in here. Got some dope stickers. I love stickers. I'm a big sticker guy. This is the Divo Gwowler XL. The reason I'm looking at my watch is I'm trying to make sure I can see the video on my watch. So I'm trying to make sure I'm in focus here. Oh, that's what's up. I even got a White Mountain Knives sticker. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Let me pause this for 1 second. That reminds me. I got this hat from White Mountain Knives a few months back, right before I went to Blade Show in Atlanta. I can't remember what had taken us. I think we were going to a funeral or spreading my grandfather's ashes, or I can't remember. But for whatever reason, we were in New Hampshire in the White Mountains, which the White Mountains are enormous because even though we were in the White Mountains, we were still an hour and a half away from White Mountain Knife. But I said to hell with it, and we drove there, and I didn't end up buying a knife. But the guy that I was speaking to was super, super cool, and he hooked me up with some swag, and I got this hat and some other things I can't really remember now, but either way, shout out to White Mountain Knives. Let's go ahead and open this. I'm going to switch the camera view here so you guys can see this. There we go. That's a better view. Alright, let's check this thing out. So, dope box, as always. Divo kills it with presentation. This tells you a little bit more about the knife that I decided to get. This knife is a first for me, and one reason. I am a huge fan of belt satin blades. Holy shit, this thing's huge. That's so awesome. I'm a huge fan of belt satin blades. As you can tell by all my knives are belt satin. But I am detoured by how much money I spend on these knives and how easily they're scratched. And I keep seeing all this hubbub about how amazing DLC is. And, you know, my experience with DLC is mostly with things like this, with Spyderco's DLC. And there's nothing wrong with Spyderco's DLC. It's amazingly tough and resilient and all the things you want from DLC. But you can't see the grind lines through it. And I've noticed that within the last year, a lot of these new DLC blades are satin DLC. And you can certainly see all those beautiful grind lines that I absolutely love and are obsessed with, but it would be very, very difficult to scratch because of the DLC. So I went with the DLC version of this knife, and now that it's in my hands, I am extremely excited that I bought this thing, because holy shit, I love big knives, and this thing is a big mamma jamma. It is in 154 cm, which, you know, it is what it is. 154 cm is not the worst steel in the world. Definitely wouldn't be my first choice. I would prefer like S90V like the rest of my Divos, but to be quite honest, I'm not out here beating the shit out of my knives and, you know, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, so it's not a big issue. I don't really care. If anything, it helped keep the price down a little bit, so as dope and big and badass as this knife is, it wasn't terribly expensive. I even used a code at White Mountain Knives. I think I paid, I don't even know, I can't remember, $180 for this, which ain't bad, because I mean this one was like $400. Oops, jeez. Imagine that. Mess up my blade right here. But yeah, this thing was like $400. Well worth it, but yeah, this growler is insane. So that is so cool. I love it. Check them out if you haven't already. White Mountain Knives, Divo Growler XL. Big, bad mamma jamma.